Setting up for Anthony's presentation later on. ALIUTU.
Quarter past 4 before we start. So please repent atas betul tu. May tol ang kids betul tu. Sama betul kita.
We have to wait a little while for
Existing ministers, our acting secretary of the government, directors, and all our women from the new ecclesia, and especially the Liuvaie South community, police councils.
I'd like to welcome you all to Liuvaie South. As you can see, ALIUTU is the place that was severely damaged by Cyclone Hata, and we also have our families and friends who lived here also present with us at this time. Everyone here were face to face with Cyclone Hata, but we were face to face spiritually and worried over there emotionally for our families and friends on the way. So everybody who has families on the way.
Away from this side here was Tony Andrews more Dr. Tina Andrews. And then across here, directly on that side was Morgan Monovalu and his family, and over here was Kathy. And remember our neighborhood, remember our neighbors. So for all that time, we used to come to the backyard. We hadn't been
Tamanatu whalaplai atu, te tolo se mua vekinei, ke te tolo tō ukui mai e Pulipano, whalaplai atu, ke te tolo whaku e Maama, te whaku e Tarisia, whalaplai atu, ke te tolo MC, mo tolo ni ko matai mei ki tasu te kaga nei, whalaplai atu te losi, pia whuki ni ke tolo te matua, mo e te tolu, no maiki o kumai ki hao nei, ke lata me haku kumatalanga po ke presentation. Kama vore mai to dose papalangi ni e vane toi, na pini dose uni, e tau paniwe ki hai eis, tau papalangi ni ke mamosi to losi book. Greetings and a big welcome to everyone who's here today. I would just like to acknowledge just those who have managed to help me out in 2017 through my research. New government, Ministry of Education, Liuvaie, Neurotourism, even new high school students, our matua tupunas. Sadly, 3 of them have passed away, but I do like to acknowledge Uncle Kim, who's managed to come today as well as part of this presentation to Liuvaie. I'd also like to acknowledge the residents of ALIUTU and all those who have managed to make this happen today. Esa whalahi ki hawa tō kupu. It is really sad to hear, and it's also nice to hear first-hand experience of people who lived in ALIUTU during this cyclone in 2004. My name is Anthony Liuvaie. I am from the beautiful village of Hakukotoa. And I'll just give you a quick backstory, I guess, of who I am. I was basically raised here in Liuvaie from the ages of 5 to 12. where we moved to New Zealand, to Palmerston North. Our whole family moved to Palmy for further education, and I basically did my high school there, and then I went to Welltech in Wellington for 2 years and did my national diploma in architectural technology, where I then moved on to doing my bachelor's and master's in architecture professional, and I completed that in 2017. And now, for 5 years onwards, I've been working down in Wellington for 5 years, and I've been doing a lot of design work down there in Wellington. I am an architect by profession, and I would also like to also acknowledge, I guess, why I'm here today is really to give back to who I've acknowledged before, particularly to those who have experienced Cyclone Hatta as well. I was here in 2004 when Cyclone Hatta happened. I think I was only 9 or 10, so I probably don't remember all the more emotional stuff. It was more of a, as a kid, it was probably more cool experience for me to see the coconuts going up and down. I was in Hakupu when the cyclone happened, so when we were up there looking outside, we were I just remember not just for Niue, not just for Liuvaie, but also for the Pacific. Looking through my research, there's a lot of gaps in the Pacific, particularly in Niue. There's not much research on Liuvaie architecture and Liuvaie development, even in the Pacific as well. So as much as I've done a lot of, as I've done my research, there's still a lot of gaps to be filled in terms of our what we need to pursue moving forward. Most of our designs, or most of our buildings, happened post-Christianity. So pre-Christianity, before the missionary Liuvaie, we generally, our matuas and our family just live in caves, as there was abundant of caves in Niue. So that, and they did not need to build because they were already safe. Every time a cyclone happens, they're just hiding caves, and they provided the shelter for them. But it's interesting to note that post-Christianity is when we start, and how can we mitigate that? These are just some of the existing areas on the look. As I mentioned before, from my research, I don't think it's better utilized, and I think hopefully
keeping this risk group inside. I think, well, thank you, Anthony. I think we have 2-3 questions, but there are questions you're gonna ask him after our meeting.
To represent the cultural identity of Liuvaie, and is it going to be like high maintenance afterwards because you're talking about resilience? So what kind of construction material are you using for this?
basically bamboo.
Bamboo?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be a high maintenance afterwards because you're talking about the resilience. It's going to be, after going through, it's going to be like the landmark here. So
Yeah, so there's ways of
And caves as being, let's say, ancient tradition. Would you consider building a cave?
funny enough, when you're designing something like this, and what I found is that once you're stepping into a space that's empty before, it does feel like a cave. So that's something that we can really push, and really push the idea of design of the cave, or the feel of a cave, because you're in this quite a cathedral kind of space, and that's really representing a cave, or when it feels like you're in a cave. So that's probably the way I would say to represent the cave idea, is through
the structure?
Yeah, through the structure,
above
through the
ground.
cathedral space
Well,
of the design.
I've seen villages in caves
Yeah.
in France. So it's like not an impossibility where people can actually have a whole community within the cave.
Yeah, I mean that's potentially an option we
Yeah.
can look at. Yeah.
Rather than having quarries, we have holes in the ground. Pebbles.
That's a big question.
Drinking water under there. Drinking water is
No
another
more
subject.
other questions for Anthony?
Andre na liwaki to na van kaya ko lang mai ki to kleve pe na ka finei wa ko mai ki kleve ki kai na ne manga me ya luftan ko li luki whakala whalahi atu ki puli. Moe hawa lang tai, ia whakini, ke tau tūru os, ke tau mamatua ne ko mai ke whakataha mai, moe tau mamatua ne ko mamatua, e mga aho nei kai fuata e tau mga hala ia. Tō ngai star, mo te si.
Basically, the summary of all my findings, we had to publish a thesis book at the end of our research, and once we finished, we published and we given to the library. I've actually managed to, I've only had 2 copies, and one has actually been passed on to our new commissioner when he was in Wellington, and this is the 2nd copy ever, which is now been passed on to the government. So I'd like to present this to you.
Nono te poki au ki hawa te whakasiano, te toro e te matakai nai hawa. Tau se hai whakasiano te hawa ki ai. O pikia, mai he paia, lau he paia, he po mai aliluki, i hoko atu ki amanau. Paia tau paia.
You know how we're taking photos of it? That's what they're doing, staying under its place.
The video. Hello.